Hi, this is Gary with MACMOST.com. Is your iPhone packed with apps and you just can't seem to find anything? Let me show you how I keep my home screens under control. MACMOST is brought to you thanks to a great group of supporters. Go to MACMOST.com/Patreon where you can read more about it, join us, and get exclusive content. So I hear from iPhone and iPad users all the time that they have a ton of apps. They're spread across all these different home screens and they just can't seem to find the apps they want to run when they want to run them. So I have a ton of apps too, and there's a variety of techniques that I use to keep things under control. So this isn't my normal everyday iPhone. My regular iPhone is packed with a lot more apps than this, but I can demonstrate here the techniques I use. So the first thing I do is I like to organize things into folders. A lot of users don't know that you can do this even though it's been around for years. Organizing into folders is pretty easy. All you need to do is tap on a icon and wait until everything jiggles. Then you can move it around. You probably know you can do this already to reorganize things, put something earlier on the screen, or move it to the next screen by dragging to the edge and then it goes to the next screen and then back again to go backwards. But you could also use this to organize things in folders by dragging one icon onto another. And you can see when I did that it put those two into a folder. If I go to look at that folder by tapping on it, you can name this folder, and that's key because you want to name it something where you can figure out what's inside pretty easily. So for instance, I may want to call this Games or Solitaire Games or something that makes it easy for you to find. There is no one-size-fits-all system. It really depends on how you think and how you want your apps to be organized. So maybe this is entertainment, not games. Maybe these are solitaire apps or just solitaire or card games. You want to come up with a system that helps you and don't worry about what other people call their folders. Now once you have these folders like that, you can continue to drag and drop more things into them. So I can select and drag another app into this folder and it goes in there and I can keep adding to that folder. Matter of fact, folders can have multiple screens inside them so you can pack a ton of apps in there. Now if you're in a situation where you have hundreds of apps across like 10, 15, 20 screens, you're going to have to do this in small increments. Spend 5 minutes here, 5 minutes there organizing things. Maybe taking apps that are one particular type and putting them into a folder. Or maybe creating a bunch of folders combining two apps and then just adding more to them over time. Removing all the apps from a different screen into a group of folders. A few of these 5-minute sessions and you'll have things under control. And from that point on, you just have to remember when you add a new app to put it in the right place. It does take time and patience, but I guarantee you can get it under control if you just take the time to do it. Now another technique that I like to use is to simply delete apps. If you've got hundreds of apps, chances are there's some that you just never use. And you may not want to get rid of them because you think, well, one day I might need that app. Well, guess what? Once you've downloaded an app from the App Store, even if you paid money for it, you could go back and download it again anytime you want. So it's okay to delete the app now. Save the space on your iPhone. Save the space on your home screen with the icons. And if you ever need that app again, you go back to the App Store and you re-download it. So for instance, I'll go here and I'll say, well, I rarely ever use iTunes U. I might need it in the future, but I can just delete it now. It'll get rid of it and save me that space. And if I ever need it again, I can go back to the App Store. And if I search for it, it'll come up here and it'll have a get next to it or a little cloud icon sometimes for downloading it. That means I've already purchased it. I already own the app and I could just get it again when I want. You could also go to updates at the bottom. Tap on your name there and then you can look at purchased. And this will show you a list of all the apps you purchased before. So if you're worried that you may not remember an app, what it was called, you can always look through that list. You can even search this list. It even has a category there for not on this iPhone. And you could look at the ones that you removed and easily add them back when you need them. So don't be afraid to delete apps. It's okay to not be 100% sure you'll never need it again. So even after organizing things into folders, I still end up with several screens full of apps. You can set these up any way you want. Obviously on the front screen you may want to have your most frequently accessed apps, or you may want to have the default apps that Apple includes. I always remember which apps are like the default apps that come with your iPhone, so I like to have those on the first screen because I know I can find those there. And then my most frequently accessed apps maybe on the second screen. And then from there on maybe I have a screen filled with folders and then maybe after that screens that fit different categories, like maybe a screen filled with photography apps. When you're moving apps around on screen, you don't have to do it one at a time. You could tap and hold an icon until it wiggles and then start dragging it. Once you start moving it around, you're in movement mode, and now you can tap other apps with another finger to load them up there. And now I can move all those apps to another screen or into a folder. Now, one of the ways I like to find apps is not necessarily look through the screens, but to search for them. I know a lot of you know that you could drag down from the middle of the screen like that, and then you can search. But search doesn't have to match the name. For instance, I can search for music, and I can see I get GarageBand and iTunes there even though music is not in the name. If I search for camera, you can see I'm going to get camera apps even if camera isn't in the name. So these apps have these little keywords a developer applies to them when they put them in the store. So an app that's a camera app, even if it's not called that, has the keyword camera there and will show up in a search. So you don't have to remember the exact name to search for and find an app. Also note, of course, you've got the dock at the bottom of your iPhone. You could drag apps in and out of there as well. So I can take music out if I don't use music as much and drag one of my favorite games in there. And now if I go from screen to screen, those stay the same. That's just like the dock on the Mac. And you actually have more than 4 slots on an iPad. So if you have a lot of app icons, take your time to organize them in small sessions until you get it under control. Use folders. Use multiple screens. Don't be afraid to delete apps. Remember, you can drag and drop multiple apps at the same time to make things quicker. And also remember, you can search for apps not just by name but by keywords as well. I publish new tutorials every weekday. Hit the subscribe button so you don't miss out. Then hit the little bell icon to get notifications for each new tutorial.